Abram and Lot's separation in Genesis 13. That whole chapter speaks about it. So Lot was Abraham's brother's son, and Abraham's brother's name was Haran, and he passed on quite early. He passed on even before their father, and the reference for that is in Genesis 11:28. So Lot became kind of like Abraham's son. Abraham took him under his wing. Everywhere he went, Lot went, and they actually built quite well and prospered together. But Genesis 13 verse 6 shows us that the land could not support both Abram and Lot with all their flocks and herds. So on a physical level, the land was suffering from the amount of people, the volume of cattle and herd on that land. But from a spiritual perspective, something else was happening on that land. Let's see what happened when they separated. In Genesis 13, we're looking at verse 12 to 13. It says, so Abraham settled in the land of Canaan. That's where Abraham went. And Lot moved his tent to a place near Sodom, and he settled over there. Now, the Bible made sure to mention in verse 13, but the people of this area were extremely wicked and constantly sinned against the Lord. Immediately in verse 14, it says, after Lot had gone, the Lord said to Abraham, and he gives that Abrahamic promise that we all get to benefit from today. So the question becomes, what was inside Lot that made him pick Sodom and Gomorrah? And we now know what happened to his wife and his daughters afterwards. So something was happening there that wasn't completely okay. Whereas we know the story of Abraham and how he becomes the father of nations. Sometimes, in order for purpose to come in play, we have to separate from people who are carrying a light that's not the light of God.
I think we've only looked at separation from a bad perspective, you know. We're always saying unity, unity, unity. But yeah, there comes a place and a time where the Lord will say Abraham to the left and Lot to the right.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying is what's particularly important. We ascribe certain emotions and feelings to certain words when in the righteousness of God, he allows for us to walk together for a season. Or sometimes, Danny, he allows for you to walk a certain way for a certain season. The Lord may be calling a couple to separate from a specific location. The Lord may be calling a family to separate from a specific thought processing. He may be calling you to move out of certain work situations. And we always think it's, the usual, the family, the non-platonic marriage relationships. But that's not what the principle of separation is about.